Hello everybody, my name is Lexi. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do a little bit of a WIP and chat. WIP stands for work in progress, and it's just a video where I work on my current project and just chat a little bit. So I am working on a diamond painting called Floating Along, and the original artwork is by Jeremiah Ketner, and it's from Diamond Art Club. And I'll insert a picture so that you can see the full artwork. I'm zoomed in right now just to work on this small section. And yeah, I will put a picture up so you can see it, and then I will also put a link to this diamond painting in the description below. It is such a cute painting. It has 6 ABs, which I love. So it's got all these extra sparklies in here. And I'm very excited to work on it. I'm working on this for an event in January called Jeremiah Ketner DP Along, and it's hosted by Painting with Pitties, which I will also link her channel down below. So we'll get into it here. I am using a pen from Enabler's Outpost. I'm using a tray from Bella Art de Nicole. And also this little cover minder is from Bella Art de Nicole. I just love it. It's a little teacup, and I put my trash drills in there. It's so cute. And then I have another little cover minder down here that was from Diamond Art Club. It's a little unicorn. In my pen, I am just using some putty that I made. I just keep it in this little bag. It is banana scented. It smells so good. It smells like banana Laffy Taffy. And then, so I use that in the multiplacer. And today I am trying out glue dots in the brass tip. I have never had much luck with glue dots in the past, but I was watching a video by Bree, Painting with Pitties, and she was like doing a tutorial on how she uses glue dots. And so I'm like, oh, let me try it again. I just have like these big ones. They're just sort of like the regular size glue dots, so I did have to cut them. I think though I ordered some micro glue dots, and I think those will fit better in the pen. So when those come, I'll try those out too. So I'm hoping that this works and that I don't have to mess with it too much. I know I know a lot of people really like the micro glue dots or whatever because it lasts for a long time. Okay, it's working out so far. Before, when I had tried the glue dots, it would just pull out of my pen. But I tried a different technique this time, and it seems to be working. So I'll link Bree's channel, like I said, and I'll link the video to... Uh-oh, now the glue is winning. I'll link the video where she did her tutorial on how she uses putty and glue dots in her pens. Oh no. Okay. All right. The glue was too strong on that one. Too strong. All right, let's try it again. Oh yeah, okay. So I'm sorry if the camera is a little bit wobbly. I have you on my wobbly setup today because I accidentally broke my sturdy tripod while I was cleaning this weekend. I dropped it, and a plastic piece broke on it. So I'm repairing it now. I have it clamped with super glue. So I'll have that set up later. I wanted to do some unboxing videos because I still have some stuff that I have not shown on my channel yet, that I actually got like before Christmas, and I just haven't had time really to do an unboxing video with that stuff yet. But today I just really felt like I needed to just work on diamond painting and do a WIP and chat because it's been a rough week. and I just felt like sitting down and talking, honestly, to get some stuff. Just, here's the thing is, I don't want to put like negative energy out there or seem like I'm like telling you a sad, like, pity me story or anything like that. I don't mean to like trauma dump on anybody, because it's really fine. It's been a long week and it's been a rough week, and everything will be okay. But I just need to talk it out, I guess. This just keeps pulling out of my pen. See, I think I'm doing it wrong. I started out strong, and now this glue dot is just coming out of my pen. I think I'm doing it wrong. Okay, let's try again. So, oh my goodness, okay. I'm giving up on the glue dot for now. And I'm going to put putty in here. I'll try the glue dot again later when I'm not on camera. So this past weekend, it was New Year's weekend. And on Saturday, on New Year's Eve, so I explained before in a video, but I'll explain again. My whole family is from England, and we moved here to the US when I was a little girl, which is why I don't have an accent. But my parents kind of do still. I mean, we've lived in this country for a long time now, but anyway, so my grandparents all live in England, and like my extended family, like my aunts, uncles, cousins, for the most part, all live in England. And so that can make things a little bit hard, like just, especially with elderly people. So, you know, my grandparents are elderly, and, you know, they're getting to a point that they need help with their care. And, my granddad has dementia, and so he doesn't always know exactly, he's very forgetful. He doesn't always understand what's going on. He loses things. He misremembers information, unfortunately, and things like that. And so it's a little bit hard to be there for them and to know what's going on, since we live in a totally different country. Well, on Saturday, my mom was very concerned because she hadn't heard from my nan, and the neighbors, who are amazing neighbors, also had not heard from her. And they do have like in-home caretakers that go every day and make sure that they eat and things like that. Well, the caretakers also couldn't get a hold of them. And so my mom ended up having to call basically a welfare check from, you know, she called from the United States, called the police in England, and had them go over and check on my nan to make sure that she was okay. And when the police, and this was like at night, of course, like things always happen like in the middle of the night, I swear. And so the police went over there, and then they reported back that my grandparents were fine. They were in good spirits. There was nothing wrong. My granddad was making a cup of tea or whatever. And so then we were relieved. But then on Sunday, the caretakers went over there, and things were not okay. So the police, I think, just did like a quick assessment, saw that they were fine and not in danger, and just left. Well, then when the caretakers got there, like in the morning, they could see that my nan was not doing well. She was like having trouble breathing. She wasn't eating or drinking. And so they called for an ambulance. what's really frustrating and hard for me to understand, because it's not the culture that I'm used to anymore. So they called for an ambulance, and it took 5 hours for the ambulance to get there, which, living in the United States, that is not something I'm used to, so I don't know why, I don't know why it takes so long. I don't know if maybe they triage calls, and that, you call and you say, like, this person is really sick, but they're still breathing and conscious. Maybe that puts you at the bottom of the list. I don't know. Maybe they prioritize that way so that they can go to other emergencies that are more of an emergency. I don't know. So they ended up taking her to the hospital, and she has pneumonia. She actually has aspiration pneumonia, which is where you're not swallowing things. Basically, you're swallowing food, but it's going down the wrong pipe. So, like, her food and water is, like, going into her lung. And it causes aspiration pneumonia. So she had that, which explains why she was, like, a little bit confused. She wasn't eating, having trouble breathing, stuff like that. They also found that she had a heart arrhythmia. The thing that upsets me is, and again, this is the difference between the healthcare system in America versus in England. She waited more than a day in the hospital to be seen by the medical team, and at one point they just had her, like, in a corridor, not in a room. She was just, like, in a bed in the hallway, basically. And that's a bit upsetting to me. And obviously my mom was very upset. So my mom ended up flying over there pretty urgently to be there with them and to try to take care of things. And it's one of those things where, I wish that I could be there, and maybe I will have to go over there at some point, but for right now, it's kind of like, I'm just sitting here waiting, to hear, like, the news and what's going on and things like that. And so my mom flew over there on, I want to say Monday. I feel like all the days have just now blurred together. So my mom flew over there. She had, unfortunately, a pretty bad trip because her flight was delayed 3 hours. And then so she had to go to Dublin first to transfer, or, get a connecting flight. And so then, of course, she missed her flight in Dublin and then had to wait longer. And so, that was not fun. And I mean, my mom is up there in age too. Like, she, this is very stressful for her. And I feel very, like, worried and concerned for my mom. But the good news is that my uncle was also going to meet her there. He lives in another country, and so he had to fly to England as well. So at least he will be there, though, to help her with this stuff and kind of navigate through the medical system over there and, like, the social workers and stuff, because it is, like, very different than how things are in America, which is what, my mom is used to now after living here for over 30 years. And so it's just really, it's really concerning, and I feel really upset, I guess, for my family. Like, I understand the hospitals and everything are probably overcrowded, and I also have heard that they have trouble getting staff in the hospitals and things because of Brexit, and a lot of people that were in England, like, working in the medical system, having to leave the country. And I don't know, like a whole lot about that, but that's just what I had been told by people who live there. And so it's just upsetting to me that, you know, my Nan was in the hospital for a long time without being seen by a doctor, and then to just have somebody like out in a hallway in a bed is not okay. To me, anyway. So the good news is that she's still okay. It sounded like maybe she just needed, you know, antibiotics and fluids, and, you know, they probably need to do a swallow study since she had been aspirating liquids and things like that. That, you know, it sounds like she's having a problem with swallowing, and so she probably needs to have like a swallow eval with speech therapy. And I would not be surprised if she ends up, you know, having to drink thickened liquids so that she doesn't continue to aspirate and things like that. So I know she's going to be okay. I'm just a little bit upset about the care or lack of care that she was receiving. But now that, you know, now that my mom and my uncle are there, I think she has advocates now that can help. And so that does make me feel better. I just feel so helpless from here. There's nothing I can do. Like I said, it might come a time when I do have to go over there, but like for right now, there's really nothing I can do. It's, you know, I'm just trying to support my mom and talk to her and be there for her. And, you know, if she called me and said, I need you to come over here, then I absolutely would. But for now, it's just, I have to kind of just stay put. And that's a little hard. Because you know, you feel helpless, like in a totally different country. I don't know the healthcare system there. I mean, I'm a nurse, and so if this was happening in America, there's a lot more that I could do to help. But, so my anxiety has been really, really high over this just because I feel so bad for my grandparents. I feel so bad for my mom, my whole family. And what's really sad is my granddad is at home alone now, because my Nan is in the hospital, but he's not in the hospital. He does have caretakers come in still, you know, to make sure that he's okay. But what's really sad is he keeps thinking that my Nan has passed away because she's not there, and he has dementia and he forgets things. And so he keeps getting upset and crying because, oh, I'm going to cry like saying it. He just keeps forgetting, and he keeps thinking that she's passed on, and, you know, he gets upset. And my mom tells him, no, you know, she's okay. She's just in the hospital because she's sick. And he gets upset, and he made her promise that she wasn't lying to him. He kind of thought she was lying and saying that Nanny was okay, and like to not upset him or something. And my mom was like, no, I promise, like, we'll take you to go see her. She's fine. But then he forgets, and then he gets upset all over again because he thinks his wife is gone. It's so sad. And I don't know, this has just like been on my mind for several days, and it's going to be fine. There's no reason for me to be upset about it. I just, you know, it's just so sweet that my granddad is so worried about her, you know. But I do feel bad for him because he's getting upset, and I don't like that for him. So yeah. I'm hoping that maybe at this point, I mean, I hate to say this because I don't I know for older people, it's important that they have their independence, and losing your independence is a very hard thing. So anytime an elderly person has to leave their home and go into like a nursing home, that's very hard. But I kind of hope at this point that that is what they decide to do. Maybe go into assisted living or some kind of care facility, because I really do think that at this point maybe things are unmanageable for, you know, them to be in the home. They do have the caretakers that come in, but that's not 24 hours a day. They're just there for a few hours a day to make sure that they eat and things are clean and, you know, things like that. Sorry, I keep hitting this. So I'm like thinking about the positive and just like hoping, you know, this maybe is a chance to get them into a good situation where they're in assisted living or something like that. And so I'm hoping that will be like the silver lining on all of this. It's just frustrating and upsetting at this point, but again, the point of me telling the story is not hopefully I don't want to like put negative energy out there or anything, but I just wanted to get it off my chest and talk about it. You know, I'm not trying to bring anybody down. I don't want this to be like a sad video or anything. I just needed to sit down and diamond paint and talk about it because it's just weighing on me. So, but it makes me think about, you know, sorry, I'm like trying to get these tears off my face and stuff. It makes me think a lot about planning for the future, like with my own parents, and making sure that things are in place so that, you know, they will always be taken care of. And then it also makes me think about what my life will be like in, you know, 40 years or whatever when I'm elderly. And, you know, who's, you know, what I'm a bit young to be thinking about it now, but it does make me think about, like, you need to make sure that you have things set up and a plan of action in case you do need to go to the hospital or you need to go to a care facility or something like that. You know, my grandparents are, I'm going to move this up just a little bit. Okay, hopefully that is better. I won't keep hitting you guys with my pen. Okay. I can't remember what I was saying now. Oh, basically just that, you know, it makes me really think about making sure that you have things in order in case there is an emergency. My grandparents, you know, have been living on their own for a long time. They're, you know, they have the caretakers that come in, but now it's to a point where I think maybe it's time that they do need to go, I don't know, like, I feel like they either need to go to a care facility where they can be monitored 24 hours a day, or they need 24-hour-a-day care in the home. Just because I don't know, it really just scared me that, like, they couldn't get a hold of them for a day or so, to the point that they had to call the police to check on them. And then, you know, it ended up that she really was sick and had to go to the hospital. And it's like, it just seems like at this point they need more supervision and more care than they're currently receiving. And it's hard to set that up when you're in a different country. And it's also just a completely different system over there. A lot of the things that are happening over there just wouldn't happen here, or not, at least where I live in the US. And so it's a lot to I put this one on upside down, whoops. It's just a lot to kind of process. And now this is stuff that I would never say in front of my grandparents, because if I was to go over there and say, or talk to them on the phone and say, well, this is not how it is in America, they would get mad at me for saying that. So I would never say this in front of them. They don't like that kind of thing, you know, because that's their country that they're used to, and that's how things are, you know. But it also kind of makes me think about, like, how I don't know, it's kind of a double-edged sword, honestly, because it makes me realize how privileged we are in the United States to have access to healthcare, if you can access it. That's the double-edged sword, because it's like, you know, it's not free here. We don't have universal healthcare here. So, like, while it might be a different quality of care that's available, it really only benefits you if you can afford it, right? So there's a downside to that. And so it's just, I don't know, it's interesting. Ideally, what we need is superior health care that everyone can afford, obviously. So I plan on calling my mom today. I have not been calling her since she's been in the UK, just because she's been a little bit overwhelmed and jet lagged, and, you know, making phone calls and trying to get things settled for my grandparents. But I'm going to give her a call today and just make sure she's okay, and, you know, see if she needs anything. So I'm hoping that my nan is not in the hospital too long, because my poor granddad, for one, is, like, so upset about it. But also, I mean, the hospital is a terrible place to be. So I hope she can get out of there soon. And I hope they can either get them some more care in the home, or, you know, just maybe it's time to go to a facility. Not even like permanently, maybe just temporary, until she gets her strength back and things like that. But then I worry about my granddad being by himself, so I don't know. Hopefully they can work all that out. So anyway, let me see what else is going on. We had other than that stressful situation with my grandparents, we did have a nice weekend for New Year's. We watched movies and just hung out with our dogs, which I feel like is what we always do. But it was really nice. My husband was saying, he's like, he had a whole, like, 11 days off work because they shut down for Christmas, for, like, maintenance and things like that on the machines that he works on. And so he had 11 days off, and he's like, I really feel well rested and refreshed and ready to go back. So it was a really good break. And I got a lot of organizing done in my craft room, which was good. And I was saying in my previous video that I want to do a craft room tour, but I'm waiting for my barn doors to be installed, which is coming up. So that will be soon, hopefully. My husband is busy with another project though, because our garage door broke on, what day was it? Tuesday. So Tuesday I had to go to an eye doctor appointment. I went to leave the house and the garage door didn't work. And basically a metal piece off the track like completely sheared off. I guess maybe just over time those things break. So he is trying to locate the part that we need, and so that he can fix that. So he's a little busy with that. So my barn doors have been put on hold until that's done, which won't be too long, but so yeah, I went to the eye doctor, ophthalmologist on Tuesday, and all is good. So if you haven't seen my previous video where I talk about this, I have a condition called pseudotumor cerebri, which is where the pressure of the fluid in my spine is too high. And what it does, or what it can do, is it can cause swelling of your optic nerve, and it can actually cause blindness in some cases. And so when I originally was diagnosed with this thing, that's how they found it, was they looked at the back of my eyes and they could see that there was swelling around my optic nerve, and that's what was causing my symptoms. And so I have to go to the eye doctor basically like every 3 months or so. It was 2 months. Actually, it was a month, then it was 2 months, then it was 3 months. And every time I go, I have to have like 2 hours worth of testing, which is so fun. They do, you know, they check your pressure, they do the, you know, like the vision field tests, and they check your peripheral vision and things like that. And so everything was really, really good. She said that everything looks stable, and it's been stable for several months. So she's pushing my appointments out to every 4 to 6 months. So that's really good news. And I'm hoping this year maybe I can get off the medication for that, because the medications have side effects. And I don't really like taking meds, to be honest. It's not my favorite thing to do. So that was good news. And then I have an appointment with my primary care doctor on Friday, just for a yearly checkup and stuff like that. So it is just a joy to work on this diamond painting right now. I love the bright colors of it. It's so nice and shiny with all these like ABs in here. And I'm really, oh, I just put this on the wrong one. That's what I get for talking. Well, I'm trying to do this. It's so nice to work on rounds, because everything that I had been working on recently was squares, and so to do rounds is really nice, just as a break, something different. So I'm loving that. So I hope everybody had a good New Year. Let me know in the comments what you did for New Year's, or if you celebrate or don't celebrate. The one thing that I don't like is So we stayed home and it was very chill and everything, but the people around us set off a ton of fireworks on New Year's Eve, and while they're very pretty, it scares my dogs. So this is the only thing I don't like is my dogs get scared. It was kind of cute though, because our one dog, Scout, she's a girl, and she's a German short hair pointer. She is pretty scared of loud noises, which is kind of ironic because she's a hunting dog. But she always sits with her dad. She always sits with my husband. At night, she loves to like sit on his lap and cuddle up with him in his chair. She never sits with me until she gets scared. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because we're both like nervous girls. She like wants to sit with me. But the fireworks started going off and she immediately crawled into my chair with me and then sat with me for the rest of the night. I don't know if it's like a, you know, the anxiety girls have to stick together. I don't know. It's so funny though how that works. And then our little boy dog, Goose, who's a golden retriever, he is still a puppy, and he is not scared of anything. And so he ran outside when the fireworks started going off and was barking at them. So he's just a different dog, man. It's so funny because they're so different, but they kind of complement each other in a lot of ways. But I've never quite had a dog like Goose before. He's so funny, and he just does really funny things. Every dog I've ever had before would just destroy toys, and especially toys with squeakers in them. They would just like rip them open, rip the squeaker open, to the point where we had to like stop buying them because it just was not okay. Because I'm always scared they're gonna choke on something, you know. But he absolutely loves his babies. He has a hedgehog that he loves. That is a little purple hedgehog, and we call it Hedgie. He carries it around everywhere, and he won't destroy it. He just likes to carry his baby. And then he has, so somebody bought him a little stuffed owl and a little stuffed Olaf snowman from Frozen, and he loves those babies too. Well, the owl has a squeaky, like a high-pitched squeaky thing in it, and he is obsessed right now with squeaking it. So he just gets the toy and just squeaks and squeaks and squeaks over and over again. He won't destroy it, he won't rip it up, but he just wants to squeak it. So we'll be eating dinner and trying to have a conversation, and then Goose is just like squeak, squeak, squeak. That's pretty funny. I've just never had a dog like really do that before. He's just so funny. But I think that I've heard that that's pretty common with golden retrievers, is like they always have a toy or something that they like to carry around, and they always have like their little babies and stuff. So it's so funny. And he's such a sweet little dog. And so is Scout. She's sweet too, but she's on a different level. She is the most hyper and most intense dog. Actually, that's not true. Not the most that I've ever had. Because when I was a kid, we had a border collie. That dog was intense. He was like no joke. But yeah, Scout is, she is hyper. She is intense. She is always hunting. She's, you know, definitely a bird dog. She's always pointing at the birds and pointing at my chickens. So she definitely is a huntress. And We exercise her every day because I can't imagine what she would be like if we did not exercise her. I mean, she'd be off the chain. She'd be crazy. She's just so hyper. And my neighbor was telling me, so I don't have very many neighbors because we live out in the country, but the neighbor down the street was telling me that, so she's from Germany originally, and she was telling me that in Germany, you can't own a pointer unless you're a hunter and you have like a special license or something, or like a certification to show that you know how to handle that type of dog. And I believe it because they are intense. So I definitely can see that. She's a working dog. She needs to work to stay balanced. So I definitely would not recommend a German short hair pointer to anybody as a family dog. I mean, our dog is very sweet, and she's definitely a family dog for us. Like, she's sweet, she sits in our laps, she loves cuddles. She is a sweet girl, but the intensity is just, I wouldn't recommend. If you're looking for a family dog. I would recommend, however, a golden retriever, because it's so funny because he's very active too, and he gets hyper, but not to the level that Scout is. And he's actually kind of like, not lazy, but like just way more chill than Scout is. He's totally cool with like sitting around all day and just cuddling and not running. I mean, we still make him run, but if he didn't have to, he wouldn't. He likes to cuddle and he likes to eat, and that's about it. He has his moments though where he gets at the zoomies. We call them pit fits in my house because we used to have a pit bull that would have zoomies, and we'd call it a pit fit. And we still call it that even though we don't have a pit bull anymore. Oh my goodness. I'm just so in love with this painting. The colors are everything for me on this one. It's so pretty. I think I got all of that symbol. Let's do one more color and then we'll go. This has been like so nice and therapeutic to just like diamond paint and talk and get, you know, get it out of my system. I've been working kind of late recently, and so that's another thing. So I haven't had a lot of time in the evening for diamond painting. So I feel a little behind on this, honestly, because I haven't had as much time as I usually do to diamond paint, but you know, what can you do? Let's do K. I think my husband is going to have to work some weekends coming up. And so if that's the case, I will have a bunch of free time on my hands at the weekend. So I will likely get to do more diamond painting over the weekend than usual if he's at work. I hope he doesn't have to work though, because that's not cool. I feel like your weekend should be, or like whatever days off you have should be your days off. Whether that's a weekend or a weekday, you know, whatever. It depends on your job, but I used to work in the hospital. I used to work, I would work 3/12s back to back overnight, which I would not recommend at this point in my life. Maybe for young people it's fine, but at this point in my life I don't want to ever do that again. But yeah, I would work 3 12s back to back, and I would work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the reason I did that was then it was the only way that I could get the 3 days back to back, because the way it worked is like you had to work like 2 weekends a month. But the way that my schedule had been, it was like I would work a day, off a day, work a day, off a day, and that really messed up like my sleep cycle and all that. So what I did was I would trade weekends with people. So I would just work every weekend out of the month so that I could have all my days together and then have 4 days off. And those 4 days off were wonderful, but I couldn't do that now. But yeah, I just feel like the days off that you have, like, your company should just respect that those are your days off. And I guess if they want to ask for volunteers to work on the weekend or your days off or whatever, that's fine. But the minute they start telling you it's mandatory, I'm like, oh, don't like that. Time is so precious. And when I was younger, I preferred money over time, and so I would work extra hours and be okay with that because I was like, oh yeah, it's money. But now, at this point in my life, I prefer time over money. And so I would rather be off on my days off than get extra money. It's just the way it is. Okay, well, I am going to end it here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was not too sad with my sad story that I was telling. It really will be okay. And I'm just keeping positive thoughts for my grandparents and my family. And all will be okay. It will all work out. So anyway, thank you for watching. I really appreciate every single person who watches. If you like the video and subscribe, that helps my channel so much, and I'm just so appreciative. This morning when I looked, I was at 350 subscribers, and that is just wild to me that people care enough about my content to subscribe. It's just really cool. So thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video. I hope everybody has a great day. Bye.